What a beautiful life.
All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. What a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Listen, I woke up this morning, y'all. The sun was shining oh so brightly. I thought about how good this life is. Back in the day, it wasn't always like this. I think about the things we done been through. I think about the place that I come from. It wasn't always easy, so every day I'm thanking God for the beautiful people everywhere I go. I just need to see your smiling faces at my show. And when you're feeling real love from the family, every day is a gift, y'all, that's all I need.
What a beautiful life.
All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. What a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Happiness, you know, it feels real good, y'all. For us to get it, then we gotta work hard, y'all. Every day, and don't pay attention to the things
Hey,
they
everybody.
say.
Today is January the 21st, and I want to say hello to three people real quick. Paula, Susan, and Justin. I know all three of them are watching. Hi, guys. Justin is my son. If you missed the show last week, he was the one that called in, and somehow he got put, like, it just came straight through my phone without me doing anything to it. So I'm not quite sure how that happened. But hi, Justin in Vegas, and Tish. He's the son of mine that's having twins. I'm having twin grandbabies. I'm so excited. A boy and a girl, so I get another grand diva. So we have a really, really full show today, but I got to talk about this one thing. I have to talk about this one thing, and Eric we were just talking about it real quick. I know everyone, or I don't know if you have heard about, and it's on my Facebook page. I got up on my soapbox because I had to talk about it. Two burglars, or whomever they would, I don't even think that term is applicable to them today, because they tried to hold up two University of Virginia students. And I had not heard the story. A coworker of mine told me the story yesterday. And the two guys tried to hold up two students. I guess they were walking down the street or something, and the two robbers had a gun, and I guess they figured, okay, we're gonna rob these kids and we're gonna get some money. Little did they know that they picked the wrong two students. So when the thing came on the news, they were saying, University of Virginia students were, in attempted burglary, but they turned the tables. So they turned the tables on their two attackers. And when I tell you that these attackers look like they have been jumped by a gang, here's my thing. Justice is something, that you really should not take into your own hands. But these two University of Virginia students, and Eric, I think he has the picture, they took it to, now let me tell you something. When I saw this boy's face, and I'm thinking, you had a gun, and yet you end up looking like this. Now, clearly, either you thought that they were going to just give you their stuff and let you, run off in the wind. But when I tell you that these two young men, you know what, jail, they don't need to go to jail, because just their face alone, going back in public and then saying, well, y'all the two that was trying to rob them? What? See, because my story, if this is me, if I got beat up like this, I'm not even going to say that I had a gun. I'm just going to say, I don't know what happened. Somebody ran up on me and was trying. I'm going to say that I was the two students, because ain't no way in hell that I'm going to look like that and I got a gun. Okay, so jail, if they go to jail, and they are going to go to jail because it's a felony, they're going to the men in jail are already looking like, okay, y'all already know we ain't even got, because they already got beat up. They just, who cell they gonna be at? Because clearly these two jokers didn't know how to fight. So I don't condone violence, but for those two jokers, yeah, they got what they deserved. So on the line right now, I have full show. Like I told you, I have full show. I have Mychea. I hope I'm saying that right.
You are.
Okay. I have Mychea on the line with me. She is actually a DC native. Home girl. She is the author of My Boyfriend's Wife, He Loves Me, number 1, 2, and 3, Coveted, and Vengeance. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Coveted was the novel that you turned into a stage play, correct?
Yes, Coveted and He Loves Me, He Loves You Not, and My Boyfriend's Wife is going to be a play March 14th of this year.
Oh, wow. Okay, you've been very busy. So let me ask you, how is it, because I've heard, because I don't do screenplays or stage plays. Is it very different writing a novel than it is writing a stage play? Because you can't use the same format, correct?
Correct.
So what is the difference? Okay, so what is the difference? Because I know in a novel you have to have dialogue, and you have to be able to let your readers see through your words. But because you have a play, how are you? Do you have to take all of that dialogue that you would put in a book out?
Yes. So what you basically do is you kind of trim it down, because the book, of course, is more descriptive and has a lot more information, because, of course, it wants you to use your imagination and kind of run with it.
Okay.
On stage, you have actors who are going to actually show you what's happening, so it's totally different. I love how they interpret my words. But basically, you just take all the description out and just let it be dialogue.
Okay. Oh, okay. So really, I probably could do a stage play if I really sat down and thought about it hard enough.
Absolutely.
Okay. So when did you decide that you wanted to turn your novels into stage plays?
Back in 2011, Coveted was my first novel. It had been out for roughly a year. And I'm always about forward movement and doing something else. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have this come to stage? And I had a friend who used to do drama, and we put it on stage in 3 months.
Wow. So did you do a whole casting call? Like what is the process? You said, okay, I want to do a stage play. So did you have to raise money first?
I did not. I used my own money.
Oh, okay.
I did do casting calls.
Okay.
And we just went for it. I'm really very impulsive. So if I have an idea, I just kind of go with it and hope it works out.
Okay. So when you did the casting call and the characters in your novel, you had, of course, you had what the characters would look like. So when you did the casting call, where did you do the casting call at?
I did it here local. I did it at the libraries. Mm-hmm. And I really was looking for people who look like what I wanted my character to be like. And I was just blessed to get those people. It was amazing.
Okay. Yeah, because, sometimes them people come out and they be like, what was she thinking? Like, did you have any of that? Like, you was sitting there with the people that was judging or people that was picking, and then the person came up and walked out, and then you turned and be like, where she think she was going? Because I know she, because did you have any of that? I just need to know. You can be truthful. The play already was out.
I'm not going to lie. Of course you have that. You're like, this isn't their field. But, you don't want to be mean, but you're like, no.
So how do you tell people that, no, not you? How do you do that when they're standing there?
Well, I don't make a decision on the spot usually.
Okay.
If I make a decision on the spot, that means you were absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And I have to cast you immediately.
Okay.
Outside of that, I just tell them to wait for a callback. If they don't get a callback, then more than likely they didn't get the role.
Oh, so the term is wait for the callback. So if my phone don't ring in like 2 days, I know it wasn't me.
Exactly.
Okay.
You don't do it on the spot.
Okay. Okay, so let me ask you, so when you did this, when you got your cast together, where did you have your play? Like, did you sell tickets? And what after the whole casting call? Let me ask this question: was the prerequisite that they had to have read the book?
No.
Okay.
It is a prerequisite that they do have information about me and the book, but they don't have to have read it. They just need to come knowing something.
Okay. So what did you do when say I came to one of your casting calls, right? What would I need to do? Like, you would just ask me questions, or would I have to come with an attitude? Like, what would I need to do? Because am I going to come in character? I'm being character, or do I just come like, oh, okay, I'm here. So what do you want me to do? Am I just waiting?
No. When I do casting calls, I tell everyone to arrive with a headshot and a resume.
Okay.
They should also have a 1-minute dramatic monologue already memorized and ready to go.
Okay.
Sometimes we say 2 monologues depending on the role, and if I want to see if they can really do, switch up and do different things.
Okay.
And then they have to be ready to do a cold read from the script.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to have to come to your next casting call. I think I can do it. I think I do. I mean, because I hear different voices in my head anyway. All I got to do is just make them speak. So I think I'd be good at it. I think I would be. Okay. So when it came time, did you have any divas? Anyone that thought they were little.
Male divas and female divas, yes.
Okay, so how did you get them to be undivified?
I don't even know if you can undivify somebody. More than likely, I try to talk to them first, and if talking to them doesn't work out, then we have to move on.
Do you fire them?
Absolutely.
Really? Wow.
No one is bigger than the cast. It's a team effort.
That's true. Okay. Or at least the person that wrote it. I'm just
exactly. Can't be a bigger diva than me, and
right.
I'm not even a diva.
Exactly. So now, okay. So you said that you have one coming out this year, March. So which novel is this one that you're putting out in March?
My Boyfriend's Wife is hitting the stage Saturday, March 14th.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So where is it going to be held? Where's the play going to be?
It's going to be at the Art Theater on Mississippi Avenue in D.C.
Oh, see, right here in D.C., people. I'm not sure. I'm directionally challenged, so I'm not really quite sure which direction Mississippi Avenue is in. All I know is I take Massachusetts Avenue to get here. That's all I know. Hey, I got GPS, but she don't be directing me the right way. So sometimes I got to be on my own, and most of the time I get lost, and then, I'll listen to the girl in the little box. But so it's going to be here in D.C. So are you pre-selling tickets for it?
Yes, we are. Tickets are on sale.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So are you going to do a whole red carpet thing, or are you going to have like a premiere night or something?
I am going to do a red carpet.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be a red carpet, no premiere night, but a red carpet definitely.
Okay. So, can I come? Am I invited?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. See, because it's all about the shoes and the dress for me. So I can start now because I'm in the process of getting healthy. So I know by March I'm gonna be really healthy by that time.
That's right.
So are you planning on? Are you now just going to do stage plays? Or are you going to put out another novel?
Oh no, I'm gonna keep writing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm releasing part 2 of You Promise, which is a thriller, on January 25th.
Oh, so next, wait a minute, next week? No, Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So now is this, I'm thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm thinking that Vengeance is a thriller as well.
Vengeance?
Yeah.
Kind of, not like You Promise. You Promise is really a suspenseful thriller. Vengeance is more drama, a little bit of killing,
Okay.
But it's not really a thriller.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm all for, African American thriller writers because I'm involved with a conference that we do up in Hunt Valley, and so we have I guess she's new, SD Sky, who is KL Brady. She's now writing thrillers. So she's going to be our guest speaker this year at the conference. Wow, I wish I had known you because it would have been great to have 2 African-American women, talking about writing thrillers because most African-American women, we tend to write, contemporary or romantic and we or the dramas,
right.
But not really thrillers. So in 3 quick sentences, tell me about the new thriller coming out on Saturday, people.
Oh my gosh, be ready. It is bloody, gory, mystery, kidnapping, suspenseful drama.
Wow. Okay, so let me ask you, are you thinking about trying to get this onto a stage play as well?
I'm not sure. I might go more the movie route with this one.
Mm-hmm. And are you thinking of doing the movie independently?
I might. I've been thinking about it, so we'll see.
Okay.
How it works out.
Wow. You know what? I am so happy to hear that a woman is taking the horse by the reins and doing what she feels that, a lot of times African American women are not, acknowledged often in literature and or movies, especially being, directors. Now, everybody knows about Tyler Perry and all his stage plays, but
Right.
he had to start somewhere. And I'm thinking he started just like you started, and you're moving forward. So the stage play, My Boyfriend's Wife. No, wait a minute. Is that the stage play, My Boyfriend's Wife?
Yes.
Okay, so now I can almost tell what the story is about, but what is the story about? Like, just real quick what the story is about. So people can go get the book, because me, I get the book and then I look at the stage play to see what was left out.
Right. You see the difference, right?
Yeah.
It's about a guy. He just can't get himself together. He has 3 different women.
Okay.
So he has, of course, the girl he's been with for like 10 years, who has his daughter.
Okay.
He has a wife who I think he just married just to get out the situation with the daughter and the mother. And then he has someone that he met that he actually loves, and she ends up being his girlfriend and didn't know anything about.
Wow.
The wife and all the craziness until everything just went left.
Okay. Yeah, that's so far to the left. But okay, so I'm guessing none of the 3 women knew about the other.
Well, the wife knew about the daughter, so she knew about the mother of that one.
Okay.
Okay, but she didn't know, like, to the extent that he was still with her.
Okay. So how hard was that to bring to a play format? Because I know you do have to leave. You can't just, if your book is 300 pages, you can't have a play that goes on forever. How hard was it to trim it down to be a play?
It wasn't that difficult. I trimmed it down a couple times, actually. Me and my director, we went through it. The first time is when I converted over to play script, and then I'm like, oh, this is way too long. It's like 3 hours.
Wow,
so
okay.
We have to go through, and what I did was take out a lot of characters and unnecessary side stories that didn't really need to be seen on stage.
And to do stage plays, was that a class or something that you took, or was it just something that you sat down and learned on your own?
I just learned on my own. I just jumped right into it. Everything
Wow.
I did, I just ran into it, writing the books.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I congratulate you. I cannot wait to see this play. And what I want you to do, I want you to send me a flyer so I can post it up on my show every week leading up to the event, to the big event.
Absolutely.
Tell my viewers where they can find you. I know you're online, so tell them where they can find you.
Okay, you can go to my website, which is Mychea.com, and Mychea is spelled MYCHEA.
Okay.
You can find my books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Nook, Kindle. What else? I'm missing something.
iBooks?
A million.
Are you on iBooks?
Everywhere. iBooks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm into the iBooks now. I don't know why. I have a Kindle, so when I buy a book, I buy them like 3 times. I buy the print version, the Kindle version, and the iPad version. So I am so, everybody call me OCD. I just say I'm a little OCD-ish. Because, I'm not claiming it totally, but I'll claim a little bit of it. And
I understand.
So everybody, her website is www.mychea.com. Now, for everybody else that want to, spell it phonetically, it's Mychea. Okay. So if you don't have a pencil by you, it's Mychea, but that ain't how you say it. That ain't how you say her name. I'm just giving it to you. So if you're typing it in right now, that you can, but it's mychea.com. So it was such a pleasure talking to you today. And I hope right before your play that you come in studio with me and possibly bring some of your castmates.
Oh, absolutely.
See,
they will be excited.
It's all about a party. You know, I will turn on the disco ball. I'll have some wine and whatever else you like. I mean, I don't know if you drink or not. I drink wine, but, you know, so if you don't drink wine, I'll have some tea for you.
I definitely drink wine. That's how I get those crazy stories written.
Okay. Wine is the story writer. I'm just saying, that's how all authors talk to any author, and they'll say, oh, I had a scotch, a whiskey, a wine, a red wine, something, and then you be like, girl, that's how you writing them books. Mm-hmm, yep.
Exactly.
I'm not too proud. So, well, thank you for joining me today, and I will be in contact with you to get a flyer for your play and the rest of your books, and I want everyone to make sure you follow her on Twitter and look for her Facebook page, and make sure her coveted, there's a little snippet of her coveted play is on YouTube. So all you gotta do is type in Mychea or coveted on YouTube, because that's how I saw it on YouTube, and you can get a look at what we're going to be in store for in March. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much. I have a small wish.
Okay.
Is Kimberla Lawson Roby online yet?
She will be on the line in like 5 minutes.
Oh, because I wanted to say hello. I'm such a huge fan.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Let me see. Okay, I am technologically challenged. So if I figure out how to get her on the line and then add you in, I will call you right back.
Okay.
Okay. I might have to have my board operator show me how to do that.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was Mychea, as you all heard, and she has a play coming out March 11th, I believe it was, of this year here in DC. So all my DC natives, we need to go out and support this local author. She is from the metropolitan DC area, and she has been writing since the age of 11, and she began with short stories and illustrations and things like that. And she has My Boyfriend's Wife, which is going to be the play. He Loves Me, and it's a series, so it's books 1, 2, and 3, Coveted and Vengeance. So, you know, a local author doing really big things here in the area, so we need to make sure that we support our local authors and playwrights and screenwriters. Now, today I have, because I'm trying to get, I told you it's a full show. I'm trying to get it in because in about 5 minutes, we're going to have New York Times bestselling author Kimberla Lawson Roby on the line. She writes the Reverend Curtis Black series, and Casting the First Stone was the first book I read of that one, and she had me hooked, and he is just as foolish as ever, and she wrote 10 of that series, and she has some other books, but I have a new book coming out, people. Yay. Yeah. Oh, I was supposed to do the little clap. Okay, I can't find the clap because I was going to do the drum roll. So I have a new book coming out, and the book is, yay, right there. Do you see it? Yay, me, yay. I'm trying to find the clapping noise, and I really can't find it, but that is my new book, people. That is, let me just say this again, because the first story was it was so much fun to write. And the second book, it shows you all of what Cheryl and Kevin have been through. And I am so honored because this is being put out by Intrigue Publishing. Again, let me just say this again, that Intrigue Publishing is publishing my second novel as well, and this is the cover. It will be out April 1st. It will be up for pre-order on I think March 1st. So I am hoping that all of my fans, readers, all of the people that know me, all of the people that supported me in the first one, you need to get this book, and make sure that thank you, and make sure that when you when you get this novel, make sure that you send me your review, that you send me what your what you think of it. You post your review on Amazon, because like I said, I am very proud of this novel. It is it has been a really tirelessly or maybe not tirelessly, it was a joy writing this book, and it concludes, but you find out why Kevin is the way he is, and you find out how Cheryl and Matthew where their love sustained their relationship. But I'm very proud of it. So my new book cover is right here for everybody to see, and if you want to pre-order now, all you have to do is go to www.intriguepublishing.com and just do you can find the books there, and we will get a pre-ordered copy out to you, and I'm giving away advance copies as well. So if you want an advance, if you want an advance copy, all you need to do is direct Twitter me, direct message me something on Twitter or something, or just tell me on Twitter that you want an advance copy, and I'll ask you for your email. So right now on the line, I have Miss Kimberla Lawson Roby. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I don't know if you can see me or not, or if you can hear it in my voice. I am as giddy as a 2-year-old at Christmas. I have read all of your novels except for the last 2. I have them all. And it was so funny because we met, I met the lovely Miss Roby. I met her at the Black Readers Rock weekend this past October in Bowie that was held by Miss Sharon Lucas. And when I met her, and you don't even know this, when I met you, I could barely even speak, because you were the very first African-American woman author that I read, and I read Casting the First Stone. So to be in the room with you was like I had lost all control of my mouth and my tongue, and it was like I think I went blind for a minute. It was like, oh my gosh. And then we sat at the same table for lunch. I was so quiet. I was like, I'm just gonna sit over here and I'm gonna eat this bread and I'm not gonna say anything. Because I was so scared that I was gonna say something that, that was totally inappropriate. Like, I love you, Miss Roby. Like, I might have just blurted that out at some unopportune moment, and people at the table would have been like, who is this woman sitting over here with this? Because I don't know if you remember, it was a woman sitting there, older woman. She had on jeans, and she was talking about her grandson, how she was beating him in the backseat of the car because he got smart out of the mouth. And so I was like, I was too scared of her to say anything, because I was like, I'm not saying nothing, because I don't need her coming across this table while I'm trying to butter some bread. So
Exactly.
it is such an honor to speak with you today. And just some background. I want to give my audience some background. Miss Lawson Roby is a New York Times and a USA Today best-selling author of the Reverend Curtis Black series. And I have a question. The NAACP Image Award that you won February 1st of 2013, was that for the Reverend Black series? I mean, was that because of the Reverend Black series?
It was for the Reverend's Wife, which was the 10th title in the series.
Okay. And so let me ask you, how surreal was that moment for you?
Oh my gosh, I've thought about so many of the blessings that I have received when it comes to my career over the years, and I've tried to think, which one was better than the other. And of course, you're just grateful and thankful for anything that happens. Mm-hmm. But I think that the NAACP Image Awards, being able to attend the actual award show, and then being nominated, and then actually winning, it was just on a whole other level. And what I have shared with people, and my husband and I both, was, just how surreal and how grateful we were to be in the room with someone like Sidney Poitier, and Harry Belafonte, the, men and women in that room who paved the way so that somebody like me, somebody who's African American, can go out and do the things that I do. It was just a blessing all around.
So now, how long have you been writing novels? I mean, I know, but my audience doesn't know, so I had to ask that question. So how long have you been writing novels, and when did you know that you wanted to be a novelist?
Well, I actually did not start writing until 1995, and I was 30 years old, so it was pretty late in life. I mean, I never aspired to be a writer. That was never a dream of mine. As a matter of fact, it was all about me majoring in business and marketing and finance, and my goal was just to work in corporate America and hopefully climb the ladder as far as I could go. That was really my dream, if there was one to have, and that just wasn't happening. I didn't see myself moving up the corporate ladder, even though I was getting superior performance reviews, and I was seeing people being promoted who weren't as qualified, and so I was really frustrated. And I started one day I started sitting down and thinking, a few days in a row, what is it that I should be doing? And I thought maybe it is that I need to do something on my own. Wasn't sure what that was. Should I start some sort of business? I just kind of had, so many different ideas going through my mind. But I started thinking back as far as elementary school, and then in junior high and high school, and then realized how many of my teachers had said, you have a gift for writing, you have a gift for storytelling, you should really take it more serious, you should take classes when, even when you're older. And I just never paid a lot of attention to that. And so thankfully at that point, realizing that I wasn't moving along in corporate America, that made me really sit down and focus on it, and I wrote my first book, Behind Closed Doors.
Wow. Well, and so when you wrote your first book, Behind Closed Doors, did you think at that moment that you were only going to write that one book, or did you know in the process of writing that book that you were going to write more?
I did know that I would write more. I just don't think I ever imagined that I would write 20 plus.
Right.
This June, my 22nd title is coming out. And so, no, I never imagined
Wow.
that. I don't even think that I even thought as far ahead as 10 books. Maybe 4 or 5. That was probably my goal and all that I really hoped for. And so, this has just been really a surprise for me that it's continued for as long as it has.
So when did you decide that you had a Reverend Curtis Black, in you? When did that happen? When did you just say, hey, wait a minute, I got a reverend in me that I need to tell his story? When did that happen?
Well, it really was not even my idea. And so the first book, Behind Closed Doors, and then my second one, Here and Now, of course, that had nothing to do with Curtis Black or the church or problems within the church or anything of that nature. But when I was ready to start writing the synopsis for my third book so that I could submit it to my publisher, I said to my husband, well, I really want this to still be about real life issues, because that's what I had written about in the other 2 books, but I want this to be something that everyone will know about. They will have been affected by it in one way or another, whether they've experienced it personally or they just know someone or they've seen it in the headlines. And so he was the one who said, what about all of the issues that tend to go on in churches? Because he knew a lot about what was going on here in Illinois, in particular the city where we live. And so I thought, maybe I will give that a try. And so I started thinking about all that I knew, some of what I had seen with my own eyes, some of what I had heard here locally, some of what I had heard from family members and friends in other cities and states across the country. And from there, Curtis Black was born. And so Curtis Black is not one individual. He really is a mixture of many different men of God that I've known about and seen and heard about throughout the years.
So let me ask you, so would you describe the Curtis Black series, the 10 novels in that series, would you describe them as contemporary fiction or Christian fiction?
I've always described them as contemporary fiction. It really became
the Reverend Curtis Black series, it was given that title from my readers. So I never even gave it a name. I never even planned on writing a series after I wrote Casting the First Stone. It was just that when that book came out, I received so much mail from readers and comments from readers at my event saying, when are you writing the second one? We want to read more about him. He's real. We know who he is in our own cities. And that's when I realized it was probably a little more to it than I had planned on. But I never called it that. But then, as I would say, when I got to about the third or fourth one, then everyone just kept saying, this is Christian fiction. I would go to certain events, or I'd go to bookstores and I'd see it categorized as that. So I've never personally given it that name, but I just think that because it's about the church and because there are always consequences, you know, people reap what they sow when they treat people badly or they commit some awful sin in the book. I think that's just how it ended up happening.
Now, have you been with the same publisher for all of your 20-plus books?
No, I have not. So, of course, I self-published the first book.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep, I self-published behind closed doors. You know, tried to find a literary agent, submitted directly to some of the editors at the major publishing houses because I really was hoping to be published traditionally, and that just never happened. I was rejected from every single person that I contacted.
Okay.
And so my husband said, why can't you start your own business, you know, and publish the book yourself? And that's kind of how that happened.
Okay.
Well, after that, the book ended up doing very well within the first few months, and so there was a small black press called Black Classic Press in Baltimore, Maryland. They actually bought the rights to Behind Closed Doors and reissued it, and then I signed with Kensington Publishing for my second book, which was my first hardcover. And so I did Here and Now with them. I did Casting the First Stone with them, and also a book called It's a Thin Line. From there, I went on to HarperCollins and continued to write. I think I did maybe about 8 or 9 books with them, and then now since 2010, I've been with Grand Central Publishing, which is a division of Hachette Book Group.
Right. So, have you found? And you know, I'm published by a small publisher. So, have you found that marketing changed from the way you did it when you were self-published versus how it's done now that you're with a larger publishing house?
No, not at all. And I would say now I work even harder when it comes to my marketing and promotions, just as an individual author, than I did when I was just self-published. And so the benefit and the great advantage of having a major publishing house is because they have a marketing plan, and you know, they have a sales force who's out there, you know, really pushing your books and trying to get them into the bookstores, and whether it be independent or the mainstream bookstores as well as libraries. And you know, I'll have this opportunity to go on the national tours, and they of course cover the finances for all of that, and so that makes a huge difference. Or they pay for co-op, so that, say for example, for the first 2 weeks in Barnes and Nobles, you'll see my books on the front table, you know, so that there's just a little bit more exposure than you would get if you weren't on those particular tables,
right,
when your book is first released. But for me, I still do what I do. I still, you know, carve out and decide what my marketing and promotion budget is going to be for every single book. I set that aside, and I don't do it very lightly. I mean, I take an X amount of dollars out and really put as much as I can afford to put into it to try to get the word out to my readers.
So what is for, you know, because I do have a lot of authors that's looking, you know, watching right now. Hi. What is it that you would say is the number one thing that an author, any author, should do in regards to their marketing?
Yeah, I think it's really about building a relationship with one reader at a time. When I started out, I immediately started building a mailing list. And so when I'd go to an event, you know, whether it was local or whether it was out of town, I would get the names and the addresses of my readers who showed up for the event. And I just kept doing that over the years and built that up. And then eventually we entered those into a database system, and I started sending out postcards to every single one of those readers about 2 weeks before every one of my books were released. And when I realized how much of a difference that made to make sure that that person got a personal postcard that let them know that I had a book coming out, in 2004, when I made the New York Times bestsellers list for the very first time for Too Much of a Good Thing, I had not even went on tour yet that first week.
Wow.
It was all from those postcards and those readers who went out and literally bought the book within those first few days.
So do you still do that? Do you still send out postcards 2 weeks before a book drops?
I do. Of course, we have so many more people online right now, so a lot of people will just communicate with me that way. They go to my website and they sign up for the mailing list. So I have maybe 18,000 people that I just send my newsletter out to, whenever that goes out. And then, of course, now with Facebook, my fan page, that's over 66,000 people.
Right.
And, then you have all that. So that makes a difference. But I still have what I call my charter readers, my readers who have been with me for years that still get that postcard. And I know that they want to receive it because many times when someone is moving, they'll email me to say, this is my new address.
Wow.
Can you update that so that I'll still receive my postcard and know when your books are going to be available.
And so when you go out and meet these fans, do some of your fans request that you come to their area? And how does that work between you and your publisher? Because I know if your publisher has a book tour set up for you, that town might not be on it. How do you handle that?
Well, my publisher, which I couldn't ask for a better publisher, they've been very kind since the very beginning. So for the most part, I will watch and see what cities I've gone to, and then I will go back to Linda, and she goes back to, everybody else there, and my editor, she's always aware of what's going on. And I will say, for this book, I think we need to do this, and this city. And that's usually what we go with. So that's just a blessing, because it doesn't always happen that way, that, authors can have that kind of relationship with their publishing house. For us, it's a team effort. It's me paying attention to, maybe I've gotten a lot of email messages or Facebook posts or Twitter posts from people in Houston saying, you haven't been here in a couple of years. When are you going to get back? And so they know that I'm getting that feedback, and so they trust that. And that's usually what we go with every single book. So we'll try to switch it up with every single tour. And then we'll notice, okay, kind of did that last year. Probably can't make it back to that city again, but then next year I would likely be able to get back to them.
Okay. So, question. So if the Curtis Black novels were made into a TV drama, who would you want to play Curtis?
I've always thought, and I guess, now, so many years have passed, so there's lots of other options and lots of other actors that I think would be great with it. But from the very, very beginning, I've always seen Blair Underwood as Curtis Black. Whenever I was writing the story, that, to me, was the person who could really portray him, from the beginning to the end. My husband, if you were to ask him, he's going to say Idris Elba.
Okay.
He sees as the Reverend Curtis Black. And then, of course, with my readers, they've given me all sorts of suggestions of people that they see, when they're actually reading the story.
And so would you want any of your books, like, you have so many to choose from, would you want any of, or one or two of your novels to either be a television show, movie, or, on the big screen?
Yeah, I would love to see that happen. I think that it's a little, fearful to me, I guess, if you will, to some degree, because we know when you are taking books to film, you're going to lose a lot. There's no way a studio can come in and add 300 pages of a book, into a 2-hour segment. And so, we go into that with that understanding. But I think worry more about my Reverend Curtis Black series than I do my standalones. My standalones, I think I could let go and, let somebody do what they will with it, pretty quickly. But with the Curtis Black series, I think my worry has always been that, what will happen if the movie does not turn out the way my readers know it to be. What they've been reading for, all these years. Now we're talking 15 years that the series has been there. And so I just would need to make sure, I guess, that it's very true to the story. That not a lot of changes are made, because you take that chance when you are selling the movie rights to your book.
Exactly, because I had a hard time. I read James Patterson, and then when he, made it into Alex Cross into a movie, I refused to watch the movie because I just couldn't see, no, nothing against Tyler Perry, but he just wasn't Alex Cross to me. So it was like, I just couldn't get into the movie. And I have the movie, I bought it because I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the movie, and I can't because I don't want to, alter what my image is of the book. So I totally understand what you're talking about, because if somebody messed up the role of Reverend Curtis Black, it wouldn't be the movie house that would, get the feedback or the, the fallout from it. It would be you, because they would say, oh, well, you knew that that's not what he was,
And that's why, what you just said is a mouthful, as my grandmother would say, because that's the thing. Nobody would have to hear it except me,
Right.
And I'd be the one sitting at home feeling bad about it.
Right, exactly. So I know that you wrote your Christmas novel. I know that was kind of like a tribute to your mom, A Christmas Prayer, correct? And how cathartic has that been for you?
No, it really was, and I think more so than I ever imagined. I knew how I felt about the holidays and what it's been like for me since my mom passed away. Even though it was 2001 and it's been 13 years, sometimes for me it still feels like yesterday. And she loved everything Christmas. That's where we always celebrated. So I had celebrated Christmas at my mom's from the time I was a child, and that never changed even when I was out on my own and Will and I were married. That's just what we always did. And then the fact that I was so close to her, she was my best friend, and she was my mom, but she was my confidant. She was just everything to me. And so it's been really tough. So there were certain chapters that in the beginning I think they were a little hard for me to write. I felt myself getting emotional on a number of occasions. But then as I kept writing, I realized how much it was helping me, and how what I think I noticed more than anything else is as I kept writing, what the character who was the mother in the book, some of the things she was saying, I knew I was taking from what my mom would say to me, and I thought, gosh, my mom just would be horrified if she knew, that I was still this sad during the holidays, and that I wasn't continuing on her tradition, and that I wasn't being happy the way she wants me to be. It really was like a light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, wow, all these years, I couldn't recognize that, and it took writing a book, and sharing so much of myself in it to really come to that realization. And so I think, I talked about it at the event that I met you at, and I really did. I put a wreath on the front door this year, and I pulled out all my Santas and my angels, the collection that I've had, and kind of compiled over the years, and I just really, really enjoyed it for the first time since she was gone.
Wow. And that's the best tribute ever. Not that you're sad, but that you could celebrate a holiday that you knew meant a lot to, your mom. Yeah. And I'm sure she was looking down at you, probably clapping, saying, yay, girl, you got that wreath on the door.
Yep, and I believe that. I honestly believe that. And I felt that. So,
right.
I was playing my Christmas carols, and I'd purchased Kim and Mary J. Blige's Christmas CD.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh my gosh, it is. I play those two all year round, because it's like the music is just so beautiful, and I'm.
And it is.
Oh gosh, it's like, oh, do I have, and people are like, you listening to Christmas music? I'm like, look, it really, if you only listen to the words, then it really applies to everyday life. It's not just for Christmas.
It does. Yes, it
so.
Does. And so they're just beautiful, and so I, play those, and I'd have certain ones, where I'd cry all the way through it, and then I'd be fine when the next song came on. And I kind of kept doing that every day, and then I went back and bought two of the older ones back from the early 90s from Luther Vandross and Mariah Carey. So I had the four kind of alternating.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful.
Good. Well, I want to thank you, and I have to say, I was trying to get Mychea was on the line with me earlier, and she's such a huge fan of yours, and I told her I was going to try to connect, like do the conference call thing, but I'm technologically challenged, and I could not figure out how to add her onto the call without hanging up on you. So I want Mychea to know that I did try, but I just can't connect the two, because she wanted to say hello.
Yes, and I did get to listen to a little bit of her interview, so I was looking forward to it, but I'm sure she and I will, be able to connect in the future and hopefully at an event even. So
Yeah.
I'll look forward to that.
So are you coming back to the D.C. area in 2015 at all?
Probably not, only
Okay.
because I was there. I was actually there twice last year. So I did 2 events back in May when The Prodigal Son was released, and then
Okay.
of course the event that I was at with you.
Right.
So we'll likely have to do a little bit further west. This time I'll be at BEA. I just found that out.
Oh, okay.
Today, so I'll be at BEA in New York at the end of May, but that probably will be the closest.
Okay. Yeah, I'm traveling to Chicago for the Love is Murder conference. There's a book conference happening there in the first week of February. So I'll be out that way, in February.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'll be doing that. But thank you so much for joining me. But I want everyone to know that you can find Miss Lawson Roby on Twitter. You can find her on Facebook, and you can find her on her website, www.kimroby.com. And on Facebook, she's Kimberla Lawson Roby. And on Twitter, she's Kimberla L. Roby. So thank you. Oh my gosh, you just don't even know, how much this means to me that you were on the show with me today. I tell you, I could barely even work. I could barely eat. I could barely sleep. It was like all I could do. And this is so sad. And this is probably why I didn't really talk to you at the event. I took all of my books out and I laid them in a row. And I was like, I'm getting ready to interview her on my show. And so it was a little weird. Luckily, no one was there with a camera. But I literally took all my books off the shelf, and then I dusted them off. I do that anyway. I dusted them all off, but I didn't put them back on the shelf because I just needed them to be like a reminder that I was going to be interviewing you.
Well, thank you. I just appreciate you. Thank you for being so kind. Even when I met you in person and certainly today, just all of your words, they mean a lot. I'm humbled by them, and I'm just very grateful. I'm thankful that you feel the way that you do about my writing and that you have been reading it. I just really appreciate it. And, of course, I'm wishing you all the very best, as you continue with your writing and with your radio show.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. And I'm going to be tweeting that out, right? That she gave me some great advice. I'll be just tweeting that all over the place, starting like in probably 2 minutes. So I will let you go. Hey, what's the weather like in Chicago right now?
Oh, my gosh. It's in the 30s, but you know what? That's a heat wave compared to what we were just 2 weeks ago.
Right, exactly.
Our wind chill was as low as, before we left on vacation, our wind chill was as low as minus 28, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah,
minus 28.
Yeah, thank goodness I live in D.C. Well, it's in the 30s today. We had some crazy weather. It was snowing on and off, raining. I don't know what it's doing outside now. I was coming into the studio. I was coming into the studio today, and I'm like, what's going on? Because this truck went by me, and like all this stuff flew in my car. I thought he was kicking up rocks. Well, it was salt that he was spreading. So it was like, really? Yeah. It's rain outside right now, and you're spreading salt. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to walk out into. So thank you so much for joining me. And Mychea, see, I did try to connect you, but she did say hello. So hopefully you two will meet up at some point. But enjoy the rest of your evening. Much success to you in 2015.
Thank you so much. Same to you, and I will talk to you again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was, see, people, this was just like the best show ever. I have Mychea on in the first half, Kimberla Lawson Roby on the second half. My life don't get any better than this, people. It really gets no better than this. Every week I said, an hour flies by. Right now, I'm getting ready to kick it to the host that follow me, Truth 360. They're coming on right after me, people. 5 o'clock hour. You want to stay tuned for Truth 360 because they live a beautiful life as well. So from me to you, to all of my fans and all my followers and viewers, I'm living a beautiful life. I hope you are too. See you next week.
What a beautiful life.
All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life.